Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to build a diagonal house in Minecraft. Yep, a house built entirely in the diagonal direction. Now you may be asking yourself, why? Why build this odd looking house when you could just make a normal house in the normal way like a normal person? And my response to that is simply, I kind of wanted to challenge myself to see if I could design a house entirely on a diagonal. And that's what I did. So if you're looking for a unique house design that maybe could impress your friends on a server, or maybe it's just you in your single player world and you're wanting to build something a little bit different, this house should be perfect for you. Before we start the actual tutorial, you should probably gather up all of the resources that we're going to be needing for this build. So this is everything that we're going to be using inside of this double chest here, and some of the items have been rounded up just to make sure you don't run out while building, as we're going to have to kind of place them down and get rid of them afterwards. So I've rounded most of them up to like the full stack here, as you can see, but let's go through the list. So at the top here we have all of these stone blocks that we're going to be using. We start off by building it all out of stone bricks entirely, and then afterwards we're going to come around and add in some texture using some cracked stone bricks, andesite, as well as some stone. And then we have all of these dark oak variants that we're going to be using, and then just below that we have all of these spruce variants that we're going to be using as well. And then the next row is basically all of the rest of the main building blocks, so some bricks, some barrels, some oak trapdoors, glass, and then iron bars. And then we just have a few more miscellaneous items down on this next row here. And then finally the bottom one is just all of the items that are going to be helpful in a survival world. So here is the size and layout of the build, and we're going to go ahead and gather our stone bricks, barrels, and also our stripped dark oak logs. And we're going to start by placing our stripped dark oak logs onto the orange blocks. Following that, we're then going to place 4 barrels on the 4 grey blocks, and then lastly the remaining light blue blocks can become our stone bricks. I should probably mention that we're going to have our main entranceway here at the front of the build, so one of the sections with these 4 stone brick blocks, not the ones with the dark oak logs. So one entrance is going to go here, and we're also going to have another one around about here on the right hand side. So just bear that in mind when you're picking where you actually build this. So once you have your layout all done, what you can then do is grab some more barrels, and crouching as you do this, of course, so you don't open up the GUI like this, you're going to place another barrel on top of those 4 in the corners, and on top of those 2 barrels for each of these we're going to add 1, 2, 3, and 4 dark oak stripped logs just for all 4 of the corners here, so going up for 6 blocks in total from the floor. So we should have something that looks like this, and then what you can do for these 2 in the middle is bring them up by 5 more blocks so that they reach the same height as all of the other 4 corners. So it should be looking like this at the moment. And what you can do then is very simply bring up all of these stone brick blocks with some more stone bricks so that they're 1 block below all of these stripped dark oak logs. And once you've got those all the way brought up, you can then go ahead and add in another dark oak log on top of all of these stone brick blocks. Now that your walls are all filled in like so, we can start work on the roof and come back down afterwards and detail them. So the first thing we're going to do is come to the front of the house here where the main entranceway is going to be, and have 2 dark oak stairs upside down just like that. Make sure they're facing inwards on the top of that pillar block there. So once you've got those 2 done, we can then switch over to some dark oak slabs, and we pretty much just want to have a line of these in line with the top of the block going all the way around on all 4 sides of the build, so placing them just as I am here until you eventually meet up next to the other dark oak stair. So it probably looks a little bit easier to copy and show what I've done here if we just look down from above. So that's what you need to do. And then once you have all of your slabs and stairs placed down, we can switch over to our dark oak trapdoors, and we want to place them on the 4 corners. So 1 on this slab, another here, and 2 more back there. So I'll just show you close up. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. And yes, my dark oak trapdoors look a little bit different. It's part of my custom resource pack. You can look down in the description to learn more. So what you want to do from each of these trapdoors, on the longer sides here, not the shorter ones, the longer sides, the left and the right hand side, leave 2 blocks, so 1, 2, and then on the 3rd one here do another, leave 2 more, and 1 more trapdoor. So you got a trapdoor, 1, 2 blocks, trapdoor, 1, 2 blocks, so on and so forth all the way across. And then lastly you can just do the same around this side too. Now we can just come to the front of the build here, and on top of these two dark oak stairs we're going to have a full block just like this, and then looking inwards to the build we're going to have a stair just on top, and then we want to have a temporary block on the side with a slab just in front of it. We're going to have another full block on top of that one with another stair, so it should look like this, which you can then just do around here as well. So full block, stair, temporary block, slab, full block, and then stair again. So we should have this for the moment, and then we can have one more temporary block at the top here with another slab in line with the stairs, 1, 2 full blocks with another slab on top, and this can be copied round onto the same spot round the back. So you'll start off with 2 full blocks here and here. Now we can just come up to the top here, and next to this highest full plank, so not the slab, on the full plank just below, we're just going to go from our temporary blocks to our dark oak planks and kind of crisscross a diagonal line going all the way until the other side, until you eventually connect over just like that, and go ahead and get rid of all of your temporary blocks. And on top of all of these full blocks we're going to have some dark oak fences, and on top of them we're very carefully going to place in some iron bars, and that completes the roof outline. Which means we can now go ahead and fill in the rest of the roof here using some spruce planks and spruce slabs. So just come to one of the two sides here, and the first thing we're going to do is place in a full spruce plank here, here, and here, as well as on this side. So you're basically just placing it on all of the full blocks just underneath the stairs here. So we should have this, and then what you can do is just add in a line of spruce planks going across the bottom row here, and then having some spruce slabs on top of them, but avoiding the 2 corner blocks here. That's going to be the same for these 4 blocks as well, and it's basically a very repetitive pattern, you'll see. So then you can come around to the back and add in a full block next to all of those slabs, so they should be poking up just a little bit, looking like some slabs themselves, where on top of all of those we've just placed down, we can go ahead and place in some more spruce slabs, and you guessed it, you're going to come behind here and place in some more spruce planks, once again having some spruce slabs on top of those we've just placed down, avoiding the ones on the edge here. Maybe even put like a temporary block on top of them, just so you know to avoid them when placing down the slabs. But one last time, we're just going to come around the back here and place in a bunch of planks, and I think we actually need to come around once again because we're going to have a line of slabs going across to all of them. And yeah, we just need to duck down real quick and add in a last line of spruce planks going all the way across. And then the final thing to do is to not add a line of slabs going all the way across. We're instead going to skip this outside block and have a slab here, skip a block, slab, skip a block, slab, skip a block, and a slab. So that is the shape of the roof. What you can do now is copy it around to this side too. So that is the roof all done for the most part, except from one final thing, which is going to be a chimney, and it's going to go on the left hand side of the build here. So facing the front entrance, come round to the left and pretty much just center yourself up with this middle block right here, just above the stripped dark oak log, and you're going to come to it here and step on it and break away these 4 blocks in front. So if we just take a step back, it's those 4 right there. And what we can do is stand on this slab here and have 1 brick block here and another one here, and then we're going to have another one on top of both of those, and then 1 more to the right. And now what we can do is place in some upside down stairs. So you may need some temporary blocks to do this, but on the top one we're going to have it upside down facing outwards in that direction, and for the other one over here we're going to have it upside down facing out in this direction. And now what you can do is just add in your smoke using some campfires on top of both of them, and pretty much just surround them on all 4 sides with some spruce trapdoors. It's a little bit finicky, you're going to have to jump around a little bit, but cover them up on all 4 sides, not the top there. We would actually like the smoke to come out, that would be ideal. And once you got that all done, there is your chimney. We'll connect it to a fireplace when we do the interior. Now you can just come to either the front or the back of the build here, and what we're going to do is grab some spruce planks and add 2 on those spots right there on either side, and then on top of these 2 logs we're going to have 2 stairs facing inwards just like that with 2 planks on top of them. And then what we can do is actually just stand on this slab here and place in 2 upside down spruce stairs facing inwards, so we eventually end up with a little hole there. It's a bit finicky, but if you place it the exact same way I did, you should have no problems at all. And then we can just have 2 full planks on top of both of them. So as you can see, it just makes some miniature windows, which is pretty difficult to do and actually use glass on the diagonal, hence why we're just using the hole between the stairs. So what you can do is copy this round to the other side as well. Now it's time to start adding in some details to our walls here, because right now they're looking awfully bland, so let's do something about that. Starting at the front of the build here, the first thing we're going to do, just at the front on these 2 blocks, we're going to break them and replace it with a spruce door. Now, looks a little bit weird at the moment, but do bear with me. On these 2 blocks next to it, we're going to break them and replace them with some spruce fences, making this look even weirder, but still, stick with me here. In the center, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then a slab on top. And then we're going to have 2 spruce trapdoors here and here as some shutters for our window. And we will eventually be placing some blocks on the inside so it connects like that. But for right now, just leave them be because it's going to be easier to do on the inside. So that's what we got at the moment. We can then grab our stone brick stairs and have 1 here in front of the spruce door and then 1 just curved round to the side like so. And then the last thing to do out the front here, underneath this dark oak stair, we're going to have a chain with a lantern hanging down just like that. There is actually one last thing to do on the front side here, and that is to replace this bottom block underneath the spruce fences with a stair. Once again, we'll fill in that later. I know it doesn't look very good at the moment. So now we can just come around to the back of the build on the opposite side here, and we're going to break away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these blocks and replace them with some of our full glass blocks. And then what we can do is have 2 upside down spruce stairs next to these barrels here with 1, 2, and 3 slabs in the middle. On top of the stairs, we can have 2 spruce fences either side with a dark oak slab on top of both of those. Then go up by half a block and place in 2 more. And then lastly, 1 more up by half a block once again to kind of get this window shape or this arch shape around the window, I should say. And then lastly, we're going to have a flower pot here and here with, of course, something to go inside of them. Now what you can do is just come to the left hand side of what we've just built here. So facing the back, moving around to the left, this is where the second entranceway is going to go. So what we're going to do is break away these 2 middle blocks here and then make a line of stairs going in front of it. And then we can actually just hop on the inside here and place in 1, 2 full blocks. And on top of both of them, we're going to have our spruce doors. Just make sure the handles are actually in the center here and you don't have something that is not currently happening. Okay, I guess you're not allowed to place them the other way. Just make sure the handles are in the center. And what we can then do is have 2 dark oak fences here either side of it, and then a dark oak slab on top of both of them. So there's another entranceway, and then the last thing we can do on this top corner block, we're going to have a spruce fence with a chain and a lantern hanging down from below. Just to the left of the second entranceway here, over on this section of the build, we can go ahead and get rid of these 3 blocks in the middle and replace them with some glass blocks. And then just below it here on either side, we're going to have some upside down spruce stairs facing inwards like this. And then we're going to have 1, 2, and 3 spruce trapdoors on either side, and just go ahead and flick them downwards for some shutters. And then lastly, we just have 2 spruce slabs on top. Next up, we can continue moving on round to the left, past the front of the house here, and over onto the left-hand side of the build. So we're going to go ahead and break these 2 stone blocks in the middle here, replace them with some glass, and then we're going to have 2 spruce trapdoors just like this on either side. Flick them upwards for some more shutters, and on top of those, replace these 2 blocks with some stairs facing inwards just to make some more little windows on the top of them. And then what we can do, we're actually done for this section, move to the middle section here next to this log, and we're going to have a barrel facing outwards, or upwards actually, and then one facing outwards this way and another this way with a lantern on top. it doesn't actually matter how you place them at all. It's just for a little bit of excess storage outside, maybe potentially for some crops, and just to fill in this little area that was looking pretty blank beforehand. For the last section over here, we're going to go ahead and break these 2 blocks and pretty much just copy what we have over here. So 2 glass and then 4 trapdoors on the sides, just like so. We're not adding the stairs above though. Instead, we're going to go below and add in 2 stone brick walls with 2 stone brick slabs on top, just to make that look a little bit more interesting. I'm honestly not sure what this is exactly, but it just helps the build look a bit more detailed. So the very final thing we need to do for the exterior, where it comes to the detail, is actually just surround all of the bottom barrels here with some oak trapdoors. So round the front, you should see there are 3 spots to put in some oak trapdoors, just like that. However, around the back of the build, we can have one here, another one here, but we already have the stair on this side, so there's only 2 for round the back. Just quickly, I've hopped inside to finish off the rest of the stone block placing before we add in all of our texture afterwards. So the very first thing we're going to do above all of these barrels here on the 4 corners is just add in an upside down stair with 2 full blocks like this. So we can do this for all 4 of them, and that way we can actually access the barrels on the inside here, which is going to be pretty helpful for storage. But once you got that done, we can come to the side entrance here and very simply just add 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 slabs. That way you can actually just walk up to this and open up the door without having to jump up, say. And then we can move over to this side here where we have our front entrance, and finally connect the fences here. So we're going to have a line of 3 blocks and then another line of 3 on this side, and then we're going to have a slab in the middle, and then lastly 1, 2 and 3 slabs across the top. So now, as I said, it's time to add in the texture using our andesite, stone and crackstone bricks. And all I'm really doing with this is just adding it in every so often, not really going too overboard. I would like stone brick to be the primary block we're using, but the other blocks just add a little bit of variation and definitely improve the look. So do this for all of the full blocks, of course not forgetting to craft some down to slabs, stairs and walls, and exchanging a couple of them as well, and also not forgetting the blocks on the inside too. So once the house is all texturified, the first thing we need to do on the inside of here is very simply just kind of fill in these sections. So we're going to have a full spruce plank with a stripped dark oak log to just make this a bit more seamless and fill in the gap. So we can do that for all 4 sections right here. And then what we need to do is make this floor a different block. And I'm going to be using some dark oak planks. So very simply, you just want to get rid of all of these blocks on the floor and exchange them for the planks. And of course, if you want to save on resources, you could craft them down to slabs. Before we start adding in our furnishings, we should probably complete the ceiling, and it looks fine for the most part with the exception of these dark oak blocks on show. I don't particularly want that. So what we're going to do is actually just go ahead and fill them all in. But before we do, I'm going to suggest you skip the first 2 here and fill in this block as well as the same on the other side. So not this one, but the 3rd one. And then underneath these, we're going to have a spruce fence with 1, 2, 3 chains and then a lantern hanging down from below. And obviously you can do the same over here. So fence, 1, 2, 3 chains and a lantern. And now you can go ahead and grab your spruce planks and just fill the rest of the blocks in. This is just going to provide a little bit of light as we do the rest of this build. Next up, we're going to add in our chimney. So the first thing we need to do from these 2 brick blocks that are poking through the ceiling, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 and 4 brick walls coming down just below, where we can then have 2 full blocks, and then underneath them facing inwards 2 upside down brick stairs, and then we're going to have 2 regular brick stairs coming out the side of them with 2 full blocks underneath, just like that. We then of course need some fire in our campfire, or fireplace I should say, hence why we're placing down some campfires this time. But this doesn't look great. Obviously you're not going to have the concrete here, but I'd recommend maybe changing some of these out. So underneath the brick, I'd maybe replace that wood with some more brick, and then these 5 blocks, what I'm going to suggest you do is place a stripped dark oak log in the middle, and then just have some varying stone blocks for the other 4, just to make that look a little bit better. You can't really see it down here once the campfires are in and we have our brick slab there, but still I think it's better to do that. What we can then do on the left side of the campfire here, we're going to have a smithing table in the center, a stone cutter just in front of the barrels, and an anvil in this spot right here. We can then move over to the right hand side and we're going to have a blast furnace here, then a regular furnace here and here, then a crafting table, and then one more furnace in this spot. And I believe it's on top of this furnace we're going to have a lantern. You're also going to want to have another lantern on top of this smithing table. But now we can turn around over to this side, just to the left of our main entranceway, and we're going to have our bed just in front of these barrels with a chest beside it. We can then have a bookshelf here and a backwards facing loom. So just like that, you should have these textures on show with another barrel on top. We can then have a flower pot here, of course with something to go inside of it, and a lantern on the top highest bookshelf. And now you can just go ahead and grab some carpet, and I'd recommend having it the same as your bed, but I guess it doesn't really matter, so I've got some light grey here, but you could choose something else. We're going to have 3 carpets in front of the chest, 3 carpets in front of the bookshelf, and 2 in front of the loom. This is kind of just to make a nice little rug on the floor, maybe to sit down and do some light reading. There is just one final thing to do before we can call this build done, that is to add in some paintings, and they're going to go on this spot here as well as this spot over here. But obviously if we just place them down like that, we're going to get a big old painting, which we don't really want, so we need to cover up above and to the right hand side, and then just place them down and kind of cycle through until you get one that you're looking for. And then we can do the same over here, so above and to the right, and just get rid of your temporary blocks. So that is everything you need to do for this build. However, there is one more final option that you can add in if you would like to, and that is a trapdoor on top of this block right here next to the barrels. And this is just for possible expansion. If you're happy with everything you have here, maybe you've got everything you would need in survival and you can't really think of anything else, you don't need it, you can just leave it. But maybe you want to go and dig down and add in an enchanting table, or maybe a bigger storage room, or possibly leading to your mines. The option is always there if you need it, but if you don't look to expand, just go ahead and get rid of it. So there we go everybody, that is going to be it for today's tutorial. I really hope this one has helped you out and that you enjoyed watching. Thank you ever so much for doing that, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.